apply these concepts in an example and understand them better. Rev Incorporated is into the business of supplying general supplies and has various geographical spreads of its operations. Consider the RAV convertible bond with a 10% coupon that is currently selling at 1050 with a conversion ratio of 15 and a straight value of $1,000. That is, if we valued it just like a regular bond, it would be $1,000. This $50 probably is coming from the option of equity that this bond has. Assume that the value of RAV's common stock is currently $40 per share and that it pays $5 per share in dividends annually. Compute the bond's minimum value. What is the minimum price at which this bond will trade? Remember, the minimum value is always higher of the conversion value and the straight price. The value cannot be below the straight price. No. Even if I ignore the equity option, I can still sell it for the price of a straight bond. So it can never be lower than the straight price, but it can be higher than the straight price, especially if the conversion value is higher. So the bond has a conversion ratio of 15. That is, this bond can give me 15 shares, each of which can be sold in the market at $40, fetching us $600. So in this case, the conversion value is much lower than the straight price or the straight value of the bond. So even though the value at the moment may be 1050, the minimum price is $1,000. That is, it should at least trade at $1,000, otherwise there will be an arbitrage opportunity. For the same bond, compute and interpret the market conversion price. The current price of the bond is 1050, and with that bond I will get 15 shares. So the market conversion price is $70. That is, if I buy the equity through this bond, then I am effectively paying a price of $70 per share. Compute and interpret the market conversion premium of the RAV's bond. The bond or the equity is currently selling at $40 per share, as we saw. So the market conversion premium is 70 minus 40, that is equal to $30. The market conversion premium is equal to the market conversion price minus the current market price of the bond. We can similarly calculate the market conversion premium ratio, that is the market conversion premium divided by the current market price. All these ratios basically, or all these calculations basically tell us that is it better to buy the stock directly or through the convertible bond, or basically what is the premium embedded in the convertible bond for the option of equity. The price is going to be high because there is an option of equity. So market conversion premium ratio is the market conversion premium upon the current market price. The higher this value, that means more is the option of equity in the current price, or either the value of current equity is quite depressed because this premium is quite high. So buying this bond for equity may not make a lot of sense. Compute and interpret the premium payback period for RAV's bond. Now, for purchasing the RAV's bond, we are effectively paying a premium of $30 or if we bought this stock directly from the stock market, we would have had to pay $40. Whereas if we buy this stock through this convertible bond, then we have to effectively pay a price of $70. So there is a premium of $30 that we are paying. But the good part of buying this stock through the convertible bond is that this conversion is an option that I have and that I can exercise whenever I like. I don't have to exercise it right away. It doesn't make sense to exercise the option right away because the acquisition price comes out to be $70. So what I can do is I can purchase this bond right away and start enjoying the high coupon that I am receiving from the bond. So let's assume that the coupon on the bond was 10% as is given. Then if I bought the equity directly, I would have only gotten a dividend per share. The dividend per share is given to be $5 per share, whereas the coupon is given to be 10%. So if I bought this stock directly, I would have gotten a coupon of $5 per share. If I bought the bond, I am starting to get a coupon of 10%. By purchasing this bond at $1050, the coupon that I get is 10% of the par value, that is $100. The conversion ratio is 15 shares. If I bought 15 shares on my own, I would have had to pay only $40 per share, that is I would have had to pay $600. But the dividend also that I would have received would have been lower. It would have been only $5 per share, that is $75. So the favorable income that I am receiving by purchasing this bond is 100 minus 75 on 15 shares, that is $1.67 per share. So if I assume that I will not convert the bond, and this $30 extra that I am paying for purchasing the equity by bond rather than by buying the equity directly, I will recoup only from the additional coupon that I am receiving, because the coupon is higher than the dividend yield to the extent of $1.67 per share. Then for me to recoup this premium by just the favorable income will take me 18 years, or 30 upon 1.67, that is 18 years. So if you are not expecting the stock price to go up, then it may not be a very good idea to buy this convertible bond. Or even if you're expecting it to go up, it may be a good idea to buy the equity directly, because so if you're buying this bond just for equity upside, then it may not be a very good idea, because you're paying a huge premium over the regular stock price of the bond. The coupon of the bond may be good, but it's still not very high, or still not much higher than the dividend that you were getting. It is only to the extent of $1.67. If this premium payback period is just 2 years or 3 years, then we don't mind paying the premium, because we know that the higher coupon that we are getting from the bond is going to make up for this premium. If we bought just the equity, we would have gotten a much lower dividend. So this difference is called the favorable income difference per share. That is the difference between the coupon minus the dividends per share. Rest of the calculations are pretty straightforward. So compute and interpret the premium over straight value of the RAVs bond. Premium over straight value would be 1050 upon 1000 minus 1, that is 5%. That is the current price of the bond upon the straight value of the bond minus 1. Calculate the return on the convertible bond and the common stock if the market price of RAV common stock increases to $75 per share. From the current $40, compute the return on the convertible bond and the common stock if immediately the value goes up to 75. Then the return from investing in the convertible bond would be 75 upon 70 minus 1, that is 7.14%, and the return from investing in the stock directly would be 87.5%. That's what we just said, that if the stock performs very well, then in a convertible bond we will get return only after this conversion premium has been accounted for, whereas in a direct investment in the equity we would get the entire amount as profit. Calculate the return on the convertible bond and the common stock if the market price of the common stock falls to $35 per share. So if we purchase the bond for 1050 and we assume that the price falls down, the worst case it will fall down to is $1,000, assuming yields remain stable. Hence, even in the worst case, the loss from this bond, as we see right now, will be 4.76% because the straight value limits the downside. Whereas had we invested directly in the bond, or rather directly in the stock, then our loss would have been to the tune of 35 upon 40 minus 1, that is 12.5%. So investing in convertible bonds limits your upside to the extent of the conversion premium, but limits your downside because the convertible bond will have a straight value.